back in the seat. We're gonna go through it real fast. Okay, Ian, how's it going?
And I'm Alex, and I'm gonna go through this here episode real slow-like.
I don't have the energy to keep this bit up any longer.
So we're doing the slow one then.
We're doing both, but I'm gonna go at normal speed. So
Normal speed and slow motion.
Yeah. Anyway, this is the protagonist
Yeah.
seat, in case you didn't catch that the first time.
Yeah, because Ian said it really fast.
I said it super fast.
He said it really fast, and it was really hard to catch. I didn't catch it.
I've been practicing all week for this.
I've been practicing all week to watch this episode of JoJo, and I was so disappointed.
Yeah, because I mean, if you want to get technical, there is an episode of JoJo.
There is an episode, but it's not really an episode. It's just
It's a recap.
It's a recap. It's a really intricate recap.
I didn't watch it, so I wouldn't know. Because I was like, oh yeah, this one's a recap.
I skipped through it just to see if there was going to be anything, but no, all it did was just take each character. It's like, Mista. Here's all the cool scenes that happened with Mista and Mista's story. Narancia. Here's all the Narancia scenes. And I was just like, okay, done. Cool, don't have to watch JoJo. On to Bochi.
Sounds like the people were like, the creators were like, hey, let's just make a JoJo AMV.
It wasn't even like because there's no music or anything, so they still play the scenes from the episode. They're just all out of, like, order.
Well, maybe they couldn't get any good licensed music. And they didn't
imagine if they do it with, like, garage band songs.
Just that one bass line that appears in everything.
Like the kind of thing you'd see at the end credits of a, early, mid-2000s,
oh, you mean
YouTube video.
You mean like a Jackass Yaya's production?
Yeah.
Or perhaps a Byte TV film?
Yeah. Or just anything from that era. It's like, hey, it's supposed to be a funny moment in the episode. Let's play the Numa Numa song.
Oh, God.
Anyway, we're talking longer about a show that's not airing this week than we need to. So, Shield Hero.
Shield Hero is real good.
This was a nice episode. It was just nice.
I thought it was... All right, so last week we left off where Vittoria, I should remember that because she has the hair things like Artoria.
Yeah, she has the hoagies.
Yeah, she's got the hoagies.
The hoagies.
She's basically like, I need to kill the 4 cardinal heroes.
And then they have lunch or breakfast together.
Yeah, and then they have breakfast. And we learn that now Fumi's just kind of like, fine, whatever. That's not gonna change my opinion because I'm now Fumi. Go ahead, do it. You won't, nerd.
Yeah, and then she, while they're all having breakfast, takes Melty hostage.
Smart move.
Wind prison.
And everyone just kind of sits there and watches it happen and is like, what? Now Fumi.
And she says that she wants to duel not now Fumi, but Philo.
Yeah. She's like, I need to gauge the power levels of your parties, but only Philo because
they're both
reasons.
Birds.
We are both Philolials.
Being raised by a shield hero.
So I wonder what that leads to.
And they have a fight, and yeah.
It's a cool fight.
Yeah, Philo starts getting her ass whooped, and now Fumi's like, Philo, I know you can do it. And then this causes Vittoria to have, like, flashbacks to her hero.
Saying literally the exact same thing.
Yeah, and then Philo uses her glove to almost turn into, like, a claw.
Yeah, it's cool as fuck.
And then she bashes through her barrier and cuts her cheek. Which, it's one of those things where doing any damage is enough to just net you a win.
Yeah, because we all know that if she was being serious, she could have squashed Philo in an instant. But it was mostly like, I'm going to use an arbitrary test to gauge your skills.
And after Philo succeeds, she gives her a crown. And the crown becomes an ahogi.
Yeah. So
And Philo can't get rid of it, so if she tries to rip it off, a new one grows back.
yeah, she hates it, and I think that's hilarious. And then Vittoria gives one to Naofumi and is like, here, if you're going to insist on using that rage shield bullshit, use this instead.
And he's got a new shield, but he's not high enough level to use it yet.
Yeah, he's like, this is great, thanks. I can't use this because I'm not high enough. Thanks.
And then they all celebrate together, and then at night he has another talk with Vittoria, and she basically tells him, look, I know the other heroes, I guess, are shitheads or whatever, but you guys gotta work it out.
Yeah, it's for the good of everybody, you know? So quit being a stubborn jackass.
And then after, she kind of leans on his leg, like she puts her head on his lap.
He says one more thing. I forget what it is.
I forget what he says, too, but he says something that triggers another flashback to the old hero.
Yeah, so she wants to get all cozy up on him.
And he kind of just lets it, and he's just like, was your previous hero the shield hero? And she's like, I don't remember. It was so long ago. And, and you're pretty sure it was the shield hero.
I'd say it's
the man was wearing green, and they're clearly color-coded.
Yeah, they are super color-coded.
And yeah, she said she'll drop them off at like close to the nearest hero, which I'm gonna assume is Motoyasu.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, so he's probably gonna run into Motoyasu next week. And there's a scene after the credits. I don't know if you watched past the credits.
I did not, actually.
Okay, so Ren and Itsuki are investigating something, and they come across a cave, and they go inside with their parties. And there's a chest in there, a big stone, like, slab chest, and they go to look inside, and they're like, huh, so this is what the something in the Holy Church records talked about. And they open it up, and they see that it's empty, and they're like, what? And then all of a sudden, the whole place blows up like a nuclear bomb went off.
Damn.
And it's like, up in the skies, just explosion everywhere.
Holy shit.
And I'm like, someone attacked them.
I wonder who.
Could it be the bitch?
I think it was Melty.
It was Melty. While they were busy fighting, she replaced herself with a body double to hide in the wind prison, but really she was going to assassinate the other heroes.
Pre-dinner, she knew that she was going to get kidnapped and held hostage. So she swapped herself out with that if I dare say spy lady in Melty disguise, and then Melty went to go assassinate everyone else.
No, I think they're probably fine.
I would say they're probably fine.
Yeah, they're probably going to be fine because we know that if any of the heroes die, everything gets switched over to like ultra hard mode.
Yeah. And I would say it's probably pretty reasonable that we wouldn't have a great big, hey, you need to reconcile with the other heroes
to kill
episode.
Them. Yeah.
And then immediately kill them.
Yeah, we still got plot lines for them too.
Exactly.
Because they still gotta. I feel like it's gonna seem like they're dead, and then they're gonna show up at a crucial moment where, like, hey, now Fumi was right.
This bitch tried to kill us. I lost one party member. He was my favorite party member. Everyone loved him.
Probably not. That's probably not gonna be said by Ren, because I feel like Ren doesn't even know he has party members.
Who are you guys again? Oh, right. But Bo Guy's gonna be like, this was Remy. Remy was a small mouse, and he was our party member, and everyone loved Remy. The audiences loved Remy.
Remy was so great.
Remy was great, but now he's dead because mine killed him. Probably.
Bitch.
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 But
yeah, it's all good.
Let's get a little domestic, but not in like the punching your wife in the face.
And not Domestic Girlfriend, because that's not airing anymore.
Yeah, movie's coming out though. That would be cool.
It's getting a movie?
Yeah.
I haven't kept track of that. I know Bunny Girl Senpai is getting a movie.
No, it's not getting a movie.
Yeah, good.
Someone,
if I missed that, I would have been kind of disappointed with myself.
They were talking about how excited they would be in my Discord if it got a movie, and I was like, nah.
Really? Out of all things?
these are people who recommend Black Clover to each other every chance they get, and they're like, yeah, it's great, but like he spends 90% of the show screaming, and that's annoying, but everything else is great. So like, that's where this is coming from.
All right, so the taste there isn't great.
It's not great off the bat.
So we're probably not going to share this on there.
Nope.
All right. But yeah, you know what is great?
Demons and drinking and monkey men?
Yeah, Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba. So it picks up where it left off, where Tanjiro kills the demon dude.
Yeah.
And we get a little flashback to the demon dude's life.
I thought that was a little interesting.
Yeah, instead of just, this is a big evil monster.
Yeah,
and
it was like, hey, here's why the big evil monster is kind of as angry as he is.
Yeah.
It's granted, it doesn't make you feel bad for him, because he's still a demon that goes around eating people. But, like, it is an oddly humanizing moment for a larger enemy.
And he just wanted to hold his Nichan's hand again.
He just wanted to hold Nichan's hand.
And then Tanjiro holds his hand right at the end.
Exactly. Instead, he gets Tanjiro's hand. And this brings the tears out of the demon. The tears of justice.
And he finally lets Sabito and Momoka rest in peace. And all the other kids that got killed.
Exactly. I liked looking at the mask designs of the other kids, because one of those kids had a freaking eye patch painted onto his mask.
I feel bad because I feel like Tanjiro's not going to use a mask anymore because it just broke right away.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I think masks are cool.
Masks are cool. I would be kind of hyped to see him get another one.
And it doesn't look like any other characters besides, like, people connected to Mr. Uradaki have masks besides Pig Dude. But that's not really a mask as much as, like, I think he's just wearing a pig on his head. Yeah,
because I believe I remember hearing it it was during the Funimation panel where they were like, something about it mentioned that he was raised by wild boars. Spoiler alert.
I think you mean the Aniplex panel.
Aniplex, that's what I meant.
Because Funimation's not doing... I think they're releasing this one. I don't know. I don't care. I don't care about Funimation.
Nah. They're releasing some decent stuff on the list, though.
Yeah, they are, actually. But, yeah, so we see that after Tanjiro makes it down the mountain, only 4 people made it.
Yes.
And they were the people that obviously were going to make it. The people with distinct character designs.
Amusingly enough, the color-coded people who have distinct features are the ones who survived this challenge. Not even Sniveling Man, who was saved by Tanjiro at one moment.
Yeah, I don't know why people wouldn't think to, like, team up. There was no rule against that.
Yeah, they could have...
someone to watch your back be helpful?
They could have literally all grouped up and been okay.
Yeah, there was nothing that said you can't. In fact, that would have been an interesting thing. Like, hey, the group this year is really keen on teamwork.
Yeah, holy shit.
Although I guess that's a shitty way to, like, cull the weaklings from your thing. Because
it's
like, great, now we get a bunch of people who suck that passed because they got carried.
We need to use our special ores on them. Damn it. Although something tells me that Angry Kid probably would not have teamed up with anybody.
No. Yeah, so out of all the people, it's the girl, who was the only girl.
Who is super spacey.
Yeah, she wasn't even paying attention this whole time.
She was basically a I don't even want to say a non-entity. She just took up space on the screen and looked off at something.
Lightning Dude, who looks like a real nervous personality.
Yes.
He was just going on about how he was going to die the whole time.
Like, holy shit, I'm gonna die. Holy shit.
And besides Tanjiro, there is Angry Man, who is angry.
Really wants his sword.
He wants his fucking sword. Give him his sword.
He just wants his fucking sword. Basically, the 2 girls are like, congrats, you won. We're creepy. We'll give you a rundown of the ranks.
And, yeah, they're all starting off on the lowest rank, naturally, and they're all going to get uniforms. They get their own crows, which act as, like, messengers.
Yeah, the crows are cool.
I also like when the crow starts talking. I'm like, that's what a crow would sound like if a crow could speak.
Yeah, totally irritating.
Yeah.
Lightning Dude gets a sparrow.
Yeah, and he's like, wait, I thought these were supposed to be crows.
And then that's brushed over pretty quickly.
And then they all get to pick their ore to get their sword. And they know nothing about ore, so no one knows how to pick anything. But Tanjiro can smell the best ore.
Because Tanjiro can smell anything.
Tanjiro is the daredevil of scent.
Tanjiro, when he killed the demon earlier in this episode, he knew to feel bad for it because he was like...
He smelled the sadness.
Yeah, what a sad scent.
Yeah, he's with smelling what Daredevil is to hearing.
Exactly. Whatever. But he smells the best ore.
And then he goes back to his sister, who has actually woken up now.
Yep.
And the first thing she does is hug him.
Yeah.
And Mr. Urodaki, or Tengu Mask Man, has basically said, I think she gets out she recovers instead of by eating people, by sleeping.
Yeah. Which is a lot more ethically friendly of a way for her to heal.
Yeah. And another masked man shows up the next day.
15 days later.
15 days later.
Because they're like, hey, it could take approximately 10 to 15 business days for your swords to arrive. And it does. And
he's got apparently they call it a clown mask.
It is, I can see why it would be called a clown mask, because it is the goofiest shit I have ever seen.
And this dude is obsessed with swords and talking about swords.
Tanjiro tries to invite him inside for tea, and he's just sitting out there talking about fucking crimson blood sand and how it changes the colors of swords and absorbs sunlight.
And apparently because of Tanjiro's red hair and eyes, he expects him to have a red sword. And the sword changes color based on the user.
Unfortunately, much to everyone's dismay, this is not the case.
It is jet black.
Which I kind of figured it would be blue because his
last... Yeah, it's a water thing.
Yeah, and his last sword was blue.
But a black katana is really cool.
It is really cool.
Although a red one would have been cool too.
A red one would have been really cool. To be honest, I would have been okay with any colors.
Almost any color would look cool. Besides, like, I don't know, I feel like an orange katana would look kind of gimmicky.
Yeah.
Or like a purple one.
A purple katana.
Actually, wait, I'm trying to think. Sekiro made it cool, but that's because it had like fire effects.
Yeah, because it was like, the dumber the color, the more it needs particle effects.
Yeah. Imagine if it was just solid purple.
Just, ooh, rip.
But you could be the Mace Windu of the samurai verse.
I don't want to be the Mace Windu of anything.
You don't want to be the Mace Windu of anything?
That dude was really cool, but he got fucked over really hard.
That's true.
Yeah, I would not want to be Mace Windu.
Oh, but yeah, then the crow comes in and it gives him, it's like, Tanjiro, your first assignment is to go slay a demon in the nearby town where girls are missing.
Yeah.
That's how crows sound.
That is exactly how crows sound. Irritating.
Irritating.
But he's excited. He's like, hey, this is my first mission, man. That's pretty cool.
And we get to see him, and I'm feeling like Nezuko's now going to fight with them, because she's probably going to go with them, and then he's going to get into a pickle, and then she's going to jump in.
I agree, and I would think that's cool.
Yeah.
Because I want to see a demon lady fighting. I want to see some demon people fighting each other.
Yeah, because they got super strength. And then we got UFO table animating it, so it's going to look cool.
It's going to be in a fucking 3D environment, and it's going to look sweet. It's going to be great.
Next up is not Bokuben, because we were Boku bored and dropped that.
Yeah, see ya.
It's not going to be Pixie Went, because we dropped that.
Pixie Went.
Yeah. And the helpful fox Senko-san.
It's real cozy.
This show makes me really glad I'm not... As much as weebs be like, yeah, I want to like live in Japan and stuff, I don't want to work there. That's a terrible place to work in.
It is awful.
Being a salaryman looks terrible.
Basically, it starts off with like he comes home on a Saturday, I would like to mention.
Oh yeah, they have a 6-day work week.
Fuck that, man. I'm still not even on board with a 5-day work week. But anyway, he comes home from work and he's like, man, today was real tough.
And she's like, well, at least you get to rest tomorrow. And he's like, nope, I have to go in tomorrow too. And she's like, why do you have to go in on your day off? And he's like, yeah, why?
Why do I? That's a good question. Anyway, I'm going to set my alarm for tomorrow.
And she's like, no. She's like, why do you have to have that crude thing wake you up? I'll wake you up. And so that doesn't go as planned.
Of course not.
And she decides to pamper him by letting him sleep more, not understanding the importance of having a job.
Yeah, he's like, man, I gotta get up. I gotta get up.
He's like, just
so
5
good.
more minutes. And she's like, okay, I'll wake you up in 5 more minutes.
Okay.
And
then
it's like when you hit snooze repeatedly all morning, and then it's been like 2 hours.
yeah, Senko-san is the worst snooze button ever.
And he wakes up, and it's like, by the time he wakes up, it looks like it's nearing the evening.
Yeah.
And he's like, shit. He's like, well, I can't go into work now.
And she's like, oh no.
And it just screws him over more because he basically has to work harder throughout the week.
Yeah.
Now, getting paid on salary, does that mean you get, like, paid by the day?
Generally, a salary is like, hey, you make this much per year.
Ah.
And then they divvy that up.
Wait, do you, like, get paid weekly at least with it? Or do they just pay you a lump sum in the year?
No, they still pay you weekly.
Okay. It's just, hey, this is how much you have, and this is how we'll distribute it.
Yeah. So, he doesn't want to lose it. Yeah. Because that's your job is so much more on the line.
Well, the thing with being a salary man, too, is if you lose your job, the way the Japanese view that almost is your company is almost like a second family. So if you are fired, that and any other employer looks at that, you got kicked out of your family. You must be a real fuck-up.
It's about family.
So you are unlikely to ever get another job at a major company like that.
Yeah.
And you're expected to be with the company that you start at throughout your whole life.
That's crazy.
And we haven't seen him do other shit that you're expected to do, like go drinking with your boss.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty normal thing over there. It's like rude to basically turn him down.
We haven't really seen a whole lot of his work life other than like there's one dude who's kind of chummy with him, and then he works a lot because everyone is constantly asking him for shit.
Because it's one of those situations where you're good at your job, you have to do everyone else's job.
Trust me, I know what that's like.
Yeah.
And then when I can't do everyone else's job, they're like, "Hey, you're not working as hard as you used to." And I'm like,
"I'm only working as hard as I'm supposed to."
I go one speed.
My speed.
Because I am Riddick.
And the second half of the episode, Senko-san plays with the machines in the house.
This also does not go very well.
Because she is 800 years old.
And naturally, old people do not know technology whatsoever.
Yeah, she doesn't even know basic stuff like the stove is new to her. Because she's just used to using Foxfire.
And to be honest...
Foxfire.
Fox. Die?
Foxfire.
To be quite honest, why would she ever not want to do that? Because as our boy pointed out, that saves on the gas bill.
Yeah. Also, if I could just spontaneously create flames, that's all I would do.
Yeah. I've seen Firestarter. The movie's not as good as the book, but it never is.
I don't know what that is.
This is Stephen Firestarter. So this man, his name is Stephen King. He writes books.
Oh, Stephen King.
And he wrote this one book called Firestarter, and it's pretty good.
Did you know Stephen King is an avid fan of our podcast?
Yeah, hi Steve. How's it going?
Yeah, he's one of the 12 people that watch.
He is. I'm very proud of him.
Yeah.
And his dog Molly, the Thing of Evil.
Is that actually his dog's name?
Yeah, he has a corgi, and
a corgi.
A corgi, and she is Molly, the Thing of Evil. Just go on his Twitter; it's all on there. Don't go on his Twitter if you like Trump though, because he does not. And I don't want people to pick fights with Stephen King.
Yeah, I think Stephen King can hold his own though.
Yeah, but that looks bad on us if we send people to Stephen King and then they pick fights with him.
Stephen King watches, he knows.
Yeah, Steve, you get it. Steve gets it.
You know who gets it? You know who doesn't get it?
Bocchi.
Aru in Bocchi.
I would say not a lot of people in Bocchi get it.
Yeah. The first half is Aru is heading to school, and she realizes she's using an elementary school backpack. And she has to play it off that, oh, it's my sister's, and I accidentally, or my other one got ruined, I had to take my sister's or something.
Yeah, my sister ruined my bag, so I decided I would take hers.
But then she sees Nako, and she realizes, oh, she's going to see right through this.
And she does.
Yeah.
150% she does. This problem only compounds itself as she leaves another day to realize
she's wearing a full elementary school uniform.
Complete with yellow hat.
Yeah. And you know what? She really is unfortunate because that's
hard.
Yeah, you have to seriously fuck up to do the whole ensemble.
She put on the little pencil thin bow tie. She's got everything. I was a little surprised.
And her way of deflecting this is to pretend she is her own sister, which a couple of people actually buy.
People disappoint me regularly, so I can understand.
Yeah, Bochi and I forget Ninja Girl's name.
Me too.
But we'll remember it. We know Aru and Nako now.
We'll get hers.
Yeah, so Bochi immediately buys it and then thanks her by saying like, your sister is a really good friend to me. And then she's like, shit, now I feel bad for lying.
All right, I'm wearing a disguise. I'm not really Aru's sister.
And she decides to just own it when she gets to school.
I give her props for this.
Yeah.
It makes Nako laugh hysterically.
And everyone thinks she did it at first everyone's like, why are you doing this? But then they see Nako laugh and they're like, oh, you did it as a joke to make her laugh.
You did it just for the lulz. Man, Aru, you're so cool. Going that far for the bit. Because you know what? Aru knows to commit to the bit.
Yeah. And the second half of the episode is my favorite half, where they decide Aru and Nako are going to play tennis against each other. And at first they think it's unfair because Aru is in the tennis club.
This turns out not to be the case.
And the first thing that happens is she lets Nako have the first serve, and Nako tries to distract her like, hey, look, what's that over there? And everyone turns, and she whiffs the serve super hard, and she's like, oh, this is harder than I thought. So she just throws it over, and she's like, hey, you can't serve while I'm not looking. And she's like, sorry, here, you just serve. And then after she whiffs it the first time, she's like, I'm in the tennis club. I'll show them what I can do. And she expects to immediately get laughed at.
Beep.
Yeah, and then Nako's first response is, hey, it happens to everybody.
Yep.
Because she whiffed it first, but no one saw it.
It's super good.
And then Nako realizes, wait a second, serving is actually a disadvantage. It's way harder to serve. So I'll just let her serve. And she fucks up so many times in a row. Like, she keeps trying and just failing at it.
She even digs her own grave even deeper, because she's like, in normal tennis rules, every second failed serve is a point for the other person. But you know what? We're going to do it on every failed serve. This is right before she fails 6 more serves in a row.
And then she finally gets one over there, and Nako's like, crap, I've lost the advantage. Now I have to serve. But she gives up. She's like, hey, Nako, I lost. You win.
And she's like, oh.
She's like, I get it now. I'll try harder at tennis. I'll attend more tennis meetings.
I need to be my perfect version of myself.
And she's like, no, that's not what I wanted at all. I just wanted to call you unfortunate.
It's so good.
And then at the end of the episode, they're all heading home, and she's like, hey, I don't think you have to try to be perfect. I think Bochi likes the imperfect you just fine. And she's like, same here, too.
It's good shit.
Yeah.
It's good, heartwarming lessons. Just be yourself.
And then she runs after them, and you can see she's got, like, hairbrushes, like, stuck to the back of her ponytail.
Because she is unfortunate.
She is very unfortunate.
This show is cozy.
It's a cozy show.
I like watching these middle school girls interact.
It's a cozy show. I don't feel we're going to get back to peak cozy, though, like Miss Vampire.
No.
Maybe because, like, the mansion was real cozy.
The mansion was even at night, the mansion was super cozy.
Yeah, I feel like night's actually when it was mostly, like, the coziest.
Yeah, because they got the lights on, and it's got that warm yellow glow from the lights.
I think that's the thing that was cozy about that show, was the fact that it was, like, a sleepover 24/7. They had, like, the whole place that you just do whatever they wanted in. And they didn't have to worry about, like, life stuff.
It was. Because that one girl went to her parents, was like, hey, I'm going to live at my friend's house for a while.
Who I just met, and she's a vampire.
Yeah, and they were like,
well, that's great, honey.
I'm glad you're making a friend. Bocchi is learning about making friends.
And you know who are finally friends? The Koto Club in Kono Oto Tomare.
I feel like they've earned it.
Yeah. So this episode, they finally have the show. But at the beginning of the episode, we ended off last time where I think her name is Hizuka or Hizuki.
Yeah, I think it's Hizuka.
Yeah, she finally learns about Kudo's past.
It brings her to tears
because she realizes she said some really shitty things to him, like, "Hey, don't touch my instrument; you're gonna break it."
Yeah, she was real shitty to this guy.
Yeah, and it's now all coming back in hindsight.
She learned his tragic backstory.
And then she goes to apologize to him, and he's cool with it. He doesn't care.
Yeah, I love him.
Kudo's amazing.
Kudo.
He's like, yeah, that's fine, whatever.
Yeah, thanks, I guess. Sure. Whatever, it's cool.
And the vice principal got...
Hey, you're scary when you're nice.
Yeah.
Stop that.
And the vice principal has it really out for Kudo.
The vice principal is so evil.
Like, he's maniacally planning, just like, it doesn't matter how good they do. The students are gonna hate this, and then after I'll have justification for kicking him out of school.
I almost love how much he contrasts with how kindly the principal is.
Yeah.
Because he's telling him about this evil... Well, he's telling him about the show, but in his head he's like going over his evil plot, and the principal's just like, I love shows. That's a great idea.
I hope those kids do good.
I believe in those kids. I think they'll do great.
And then they get into perfect sync, where they're finally ready to play together.
Perfect sync.
And as they're getting up on stage, they're all nervous.
Stage fright.
And he's trying to think of something, the president dude's trying to think of something to say to everybody, because he's like, oh man, everyone's nervous, what do I say? But then he just gets upstaged by
Hizuka.
Yeah, she's just like, hey,
immediately,
even if you guys forget, your bodies will remember.
And don't worry, you've got me here too, and I'm great. And everyone's like, again, you almost had it with that one. You just took it one step too far. Just that one step.
And then the vice president gives a speech to the whole class. He's like, so I basically made a bet with a bunch of students saying that I get to cancel their club if you guys don't like it, so it's all on you. And everyone's like, I don't fucking care about the Kodo Club.
Yeah, what the fuck?
And then the music dudes are obviously there, and they're like, yeah, get it. We don't care, guys. Get off the stage.
Because the club president is like, I'll make a cool speech where I'm like, hey, this is Koto Club. We playing Ryuseigen. And then they heckle him. And then he's like, Kudo stands up and stares angrily and uses his special skill, Intimidate, on the entire crowd. And then President Guy is like, you know what? Fuck this. I like the Kodo. I like these people. They're my friends. I like hanging out with my friends. We're doing this because we're friends and we like the Koto.
Yeah, they really emphasize in this one, too, that they're friends, where, like, the little guy goes and hugs Hizuka right away.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, you can't do that. He's like, what? We're friends. We're all in the Kodo Club. We're all friends together. And she's just like, friends? Huh. Nani?
Omae wa mo shinderu.
Tomodachi?
Tamagotchi? Mitsubishi? Taco Bell? No, wait, that's Spanish.
And then they get up there and they start playing and they blow everybody away to the point where their hairs are like flying back.
It is excessive.
The rock and roll club's like, whoa!
Everyone is absolutely fucking stunned. And it's like, I mean, I know it's good.
Yeah.
But you don't have to go that far.
These are high schoolers.
Yeah, no high schoolers.
To the very least, they're probably like, all right, this isn't shitty.
Yeah, maybe there's a couple people that are like, hey, I kind of like this. This is kind of cool.
I feel like even if it was good, the music club guys, the most you'd get out of them is, well, it wasn't shit. Well,
whatever. Fuck off.
And yeah, so while they're all playing, it kind of goes through all the flashbacks of like Kudo and his life up to this point.
Because they learn from Granny that to make their music really resonate, you got to think about why you're playing it.
And they, at one point, get out of sync with each other, but since they are so in sync with each other, she starts like strumming the first note louder so they can all get on track again.
Yeah, Hizuka pulls some freaking legendary shit and gets everyone back on track.
I also don't like how when he like messed up there, one of the girls was like, "Is that supposed to sound like that? Like, how the fuck do you know?"
Yeah,
I don't know.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah,
I'd be like, "Huh, this song's not that great at this part." This song...
Or maybe it's supposed to sound like that. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, what do I, a mere plebeian in the world of the Koto arts,
know
have
about
to
classical
judge?
music?
But she pulls some shit, and she gets everyone back on track, and they get the solos.
And then Kudo gets to his solo at the end, and it creates dragons.
He makes dragons.
And everyone's blown away where they're just like, even his own fellow club mates are just like,
holy
he's making
shit.
that sound.
Because he's like, I gotta think about Grandpa. Gotta think about my granddad.
And that was a nice scene.
It was. Because we get a little bit more with him and his grandfather's relationship. It's not just stuff we've already seen before.
Yeah.
It's new stuff.
Then he finishes playing, and then even the vice principal's like blown away at the end. He's like, "Oh,
what?
To think I wanted to kick this guy out of school
His
when
heart,
he can make this sound."
His heart and his soul are beautiful. Oh, we also get a little bit more Kudo and Kudo's friend stuff, where basically he gets in a fight, and instead of going home, goes to his friend's house, where his friend's like,
Yeah.
"What the fuck? You can't just barge in my house every time you get into a fight." But he patches him up anyway, because he's a good boy. He's a good friend.
They're good pals, and they look out for one another.
Yeah, which is why he defended the other delinquent kids.
Because they're friends. He's like, if you're friends with my friend, then you must be good guys, because he's not friends with bad guys.
If you're friends with my friend, then I'm going to catch a knife in mid-stab for you.
I feel like catching his arm would have been way easier.
It would have been so much easier and would not have sliced the shit out of his hand.
Yeah.
But then again, this is Kudo we're talking about.
He can handle it.
He gets the scary moments and the pretty boy moments in the same episode.
He's perfect.
Kudo is perfect.
He is contender for best boy of the season.
I would say Kudo's up there. He's up there, man.
He is up there. Speaking of boys, Midnight Occult Civil Servants.
We watched The Boys.
Yeah, we get to see Coyote Quaddle just kind of hanging out in Arata's house. He's just now like one of his familiars, basically.
Yeah, he bunks in his house and messes with his cat.
And dresses like a woman.
And he even mentions, he's like, "Do you want me to wear something more masculine?" And Arata's like, "No, that's fine. Just wear whatever you want. Just also, please don't wake me up by levitating above my face. Please do not do that." Which I feel is a reasonable request.
Yeah.
I would not want my ethereal Spanish god boyfriend 6 inches from my face every morning.
Yeah. And now he lives with him and the cat.
Yep.
They got a cat together.
It's two men who live together and they own a cat.
Yep. And then he goes to work and they meet like this cop guy, and they're just kind of making the rounds, seeing if all the anothers are supposed to be where they're supposed to be. Which,
before the guy who could talk to anothers came along, seems like they would just go around and literally check, still here.
Yeah, that thing's there.
That thing's still over there.
They're like the SCP without a budget.
Yeah. They just kind of, because they don't even really do anything. They just literally look at it for 2 seconds. Still here. All right. Check. I feel like that's the bureaucratic part coming through, where it's like, we don't have to like do anything. We just gotta check, and then we can fill out the reports.
Like they found these monkeys that are basically there's some Chinese folklore creature that just drink all the time.
And apparently they sit in this one pavilion and drink literally all year long, which, holy shit.
Imagine the headache. Although I guess you can't get a hangover if you never stop.
Can't be hungover if all you do is drink.
Imagine a like century-long hangover.
That doesn't sound very good.
Anyway, while they're exploring, they're heading back, and they find one of the cop guys that they saw is getting dragged away by this giant red ogre thing. The cop can see another's, but he doesn't really understand them.
He can just see him, which is why they've recruited him as part of their, like, hey, if you can tell me where these guys are right now so we don't have to spend all day tracking them down, which is another bureaucratic thing. Like, how can we do this with the least amount of effort? Let's recruit a cop.
Yeah.
And he can just tell us where everything is.
And he gets dragged back to the thing's lair, and while they're there, they try to sneak in, but
doesn't work.
Yeah, they have little fairies there like, hey, the Ears of Sand guy's here.
Hey, he's here. You got guests.
And he's like, hey, I just woke up from like a 100-year-long nap, so I'm going to drink and party with this guy.
Yeah, so let's party.
Yeah, we're just going to party for 100 years. That's the only amount of time he has to stay with me.
Yeah, only 100 years.
And they're like, shit, this isn't good. So
he has a family.
They don't know what to do until Coyote shows up. Coyote Quaddle. And he's like, hey, why don't we have a drinking contest?
What could possibly go wrong?
And they all have to do a drinking contest. They decide to drink human sake because they don't trust another sake.
Naturally.
And scientist guy is the first one out, which makes sense based on his body type. Yeah,
scientist guy is...
He is a skinny, effeminate, pretty boy. He is down very quick.
That was probably his first cup.
Yeah, that was probably his first cup. Where Hostess Club guy, which makes sense, can drink like a champ.
Dude holds his fucking own.
In fact, he sends Arata to go find help because he's like, I'm going to try to keep up as best I can. You just go
get reinforcements. And Arata's already real tipsy at this point. So he's like, all right, man, I'm going to go get reinforcements. I'm going to come back with reinforcements.
And he's so drunk that he starts looping around the place, and he keeps showing back up. He's like, I was just here. Oh, no.
I think part of that was another god magic.
Yeah, it might be like you're stuck in the demon's domain.
Because, like, the rest of the world is real gray and kind of drowned out at this point.
Yeah.
But
he comes across the perfect people. The
monkey boys.
Who drink forever.
Who literally drink forever.
And he's like, oh, so he brings them along, and then they show up and just start drinking everything.
They uninvited to the party just start just showing up, drinking all the sake, and they're like, yo, man, you gotta keep drinking with us. Come on, what are you doing? You're not drinking right now. You gotta drink. And he does. And they use this opportunity as a distraction to pull both their unconscious scientist man and the cop guy out.
Well, they are both drunk as shit that they have to do this.
Yeah, it seems awful. Seems like the worst thing ever.
And then Coyote Quaddle decides to stay.
Yeah, he joins them.
Because he can leave whenever the fuck he wants.
He's a god. He can do whatever.
Yeah, he outranks these guys. These guys are just spirits.
He looks down on their lowly forms.
So yeah, I think that's going to be the gist of how this goes now as they involve themselves with another stuff. And Coyote just kind of sort of helps, sort of fucks things up, which I guess fits a god of trickery.
Yeah, he trickster calamities things. And then...
Worst boyfriend ever.
worst boyfriend ever, and he can fly. So, like...
That's pretty bad.
That's pretty bad. Robi Hachi.
Robi Hachi. Everything about this show.
It's so good.
We start off with a scene that happened before the show where Robbie went to Yang to ask for more money.
And Yang is like, I'll lend you more money, but the due date for the other money's coming up.
And then Robbie thanks him and gives him some candies, which is the kind we always see him eating.
Yeah.
And he immediately blushes, and he's like, oh.
Robbie, you decided to share these with me? And he's like, yeah, I went to the pachinko parlor, and I didn't want to show up empty-handed, so, like, I bought these so you can have them.
And he takes them and he treasures them.
He treasures them super hard. It's really good.
And we see another flashback from Yang's minions. He's just walking down the street in the rain, and in a cardboard box like a left-out cat is the blonde dude.
He's just sitting in the box. And Yang stops, and he goes back to him, and he's like, be a man and take more care in your appearance.
And he hands him a comb.
He hands him a comb.
He's like, come with me. I'll buy you something to eat.
And he does. And from that day forth, that man is Yang's henchman.
And he has the stupid coif in his hair.
Yeah.
Because he uses the comb.
He constantly combs his hair.
And then he's going down the street, and in the same spot, he sees the other dude who's like I'm just going to call him Afro Kid.
He sees Afro Kid also leaning on a box. Box continuity?
And he tries to do the same thing, like, be a man, take more care of your appearance. And he has headphones on, so he's like, what?
I can't hear you. So he just starts, like, literally screaming at this kid, be a man, take more pride in your appearance. And eventually he gives up, and he's like, fucking come on, I'll buy you something to eat. And then the kid gets up and delivers a sweet-ass flying kick right to his back.
And somehow he ended up joining them.
And from that day forth, he was another one of Yang's minions.
And as for Robbie and Hachi, the title characters...
Oh, yeah, they're in this, too.
Turns out the way to Iskander is almost like a tourist trip. I like how this show is basically going to tourist spot to tourist spot.
I mean, the intro is like space.
The final tourist destination.
New and unexplored methods of tourism.
You know, it's specifically like new and exciting activities await us.
Yeah. They basically, you gotta planet hop for like 53 planets before you can reach Iskandar.
And Hachi's like, hey, how about we stop at this planet? And he's like, why? And he's like, well, it is a planet hopping tour. And he's like, all right, I guess you're right.
They do see on the radar that ever since Pluto, there are 3 suspicious non-Yang ships that are following them. And this kind of alerts Robbie a little bit, and he's like, so there's something with that. There's something with that stuff.
And because the way the planets work, it's probably going to be a Planet of Hats thing. They go to the water planet with the fish people.
And it is all water with artificial land. And they stop at a place that looks like a fish loaf.
Yep. They end up going all the way there, and while they're there, apparently Hachi looked up all the good places to eat at, because Hachi has done the math on how many meals the average human eats in their life, and he wants to make sure all of them are good.
He doesn't want a crappy meal for for any of his 675,000 remaining meals. So they stop at a place that has 4.5 stars.
And you have to catch your own fish there.
Which, at that point, I'd be like, nah, I'm good. Let's find something else.
Yeah, how did this get 4.5 stars?
Because as someone who has experience fishing, that shit takes a long time.
Yeah.
You don't just go out and catch a fish all willy-nilly.
Although on a planet where it's just ocean, I feel like there's a lot of fish.
Probably, but how many of them are standing around near the station?
That's true.
But anyway, they do catch one.
Yep, and then they get it made into a meal for them. But Hachi doesn't have money.
Yeah.
Actually, something seems weird about Hachi in this one, where I almost think those guys are after Hachi because he looks at his wrist thing and chooses almost not to use it.
Yeah.
Where I think Hachi's being hunted down by somebody. So Hachi decides to work there part-time because he doesn't have any money to pay the guy, which he's actually thrilled about.
Yeah.
Also, he works there with the butler, too.
Yeah, he ropes in the butler because the store owner's like, due to recent labor laws changing, we're actually super understaffed. We'll even take robot help. Fuck it. Both of you come along. And they do. And
oh, yeah, Robbie got food poisoning, too, so he's in the hospital.
Yeah, Robbie's like, that's stupid. I'm gonna go. And then he basically passes out. Turns out he's got food poisoning.
And he sees there the nurse that takes care of him is the same nurse that he got involved with in the past that ended up getting him, like, run in with the Yakuza or something.
Yeah, of course.
But she convinces him to buy a super huge set of fishing poles to catch some rare fish that's worth a lot of money.
The Ultra Ore Fish Premium Hunting Set.
And because Robbie's easily led around by his dick, he does this.
Yeah. And we also learn that one of Hachi's coworkers also wants the fish.
Because he wants to he wants to use it to basically get enough money to go back to living under the sea with his fiance.
Yeah, because basically this fish is like, it's got a real big bounty on it, where if you catch it, you make it into fish loaf, and then you offer it to their god. They're like, here, have a whole bunch of money for some reason.
Yeah. And as they decide to just, since Robbie bought all the equipment, to just start fishing.
Okay, let's do it.
They actually catch a shit ton of fish, too. But none of them are the one they're looking for.
And they are all hideously disgusting looking.
Mm-hmm. These are like eldritch horror fish.
All of the non-sentient.
These are like something Dagon puked up.
Yeah. They're all real gross. Anything that's not walking around on two legs is real creepy in this episode.
Yeah.
But Robbie has the genius idea. Why are we using rods?
Yeah, use the Heezekrieger.
Yeah, we have a Gatai robot. Let's do it.
And then they both combine. They form the Heezekrieger, and they just jump into the sea with that. And the butler's like, should they really be doing that?
Turns out they should not really be doing that.
Because as they go down, Hachi's like, I think we're taking on water. And he's like, why isn't this thing waterproof? He's like, it's space-proof.
Yeah, it's fine in space.
And then Hachi's explaining, well, you see, space doesn't have atmospheric pressure, whereas every, I think, 10 feet or whatever, we go down in water, the pressure increases, and the water starts filling up past his mouth where he's speaking.
And Robbie's like, what the... Why didn't you just mention that there's water before? Just start with that. Burying the lead, bro.
And they both have to escape the Heezekrieger because it's sinking. And I actually like this scene because in any other series, I feel like it would be like the two of them fighting to get out, like pushing each other out of the way. But they actually do some good teamwork here. Like they lift each other, they like pull each other up.
Yeah, they do the teamwork.
Because like the first thing he does when he gets out is he grabs Hachi and pulls him up, and then Hachi gives him like a leg boost.
Yeah, I like that our main heroes, while they do kind of give each other shit sometimes, they're good buddies.
Yeah. And that's what you need from a series like this. It's a buddy travel show.
It is on the Travel Channel.
It is
Robbie Hachi.
Two buddies on the Travel Channel.
Yeah. But
all the hottest spots to go in space.
Exactly. All the way to East Kendar.
And they have to get the robot pulled out with a crane, and it looks like it's crying with all the water leaking out of the eyes.
Yeah.
And they kind of reconcile that, hey, just being alive is good enough.
Being alive is pretty cool, isn't it?
And then the Heezekrieger spits out a bunch of water, and it turns out that specific fish was inside of it. So
the Heezekrieger caught the oarfish for them.
And then they all jump in the water quickly to catch it. And they got it.
They got it. And
most of the money had to pay off getting the Heezekrieger out, paying that lady, paying for the expensive rod set that Robbie bought.
But in the end, they still left with a little bit of pocket change. And Robbie's like, you know what? That'll get us there. That's enough for expenses.
I mean, they are technically ahead, which is new.
Yeah. But it's probably not going to be enough.
Yeah, we're going to see how they fuck it up next week.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love this show. This is my favorite show this season. I'll just say that now.
It's so goddamn good.
Every time it comes on, I'm like, yes.
I want more of this show. It's so good. I love it. I love seeing everyone interact. I love watching them just... I love watching Robbie's brain work on these schemes is so much fun to watch.
Or then Hachi, anytime something goes wrong where they're working at the restaurant, like,
And
Ishaimase!
Oh, and he's so excited about it.
Yeah.
He loves working a shitty minimum wage fish shop job.
Because it never would have happened if not for all this. It
Exactly.
wasn't part of his life plan, and he loves when things don't go to his life plan.
Exactly. So he's loving it. It's great.
He's loving it. I'm loving it. We're all loving it.
I'm loving it.
McDonald's. I'm loving it. Is that still their slogan?
No? Maybe? I don't know. And actually it was ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it.
Yeah, I feel like they rebranded every couple of decades.
They're a corporation. They rebrand every couple of years.
I feel like you don't need to rebrand some specific companies though.
No.
Yeah.
Robbie Hachi definitely doesn't need to rebrand.
No, it's too new to rebrand.
So you put that in your travel channel pipes and smoke it.
I'm glad you did a put it in your pipe and smoke it thing, because that's what I was about to do.
I feel like that's the only way to go with that one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, also the ED is still amazing.
Funky boogie.
It's so good.
Keep on dancing. Keep on.
Oh, I love it. I want more bad guys singing more EDs. Give me more.
Yang is the best villain this season.
Yang is the best villain this season, and he hasn't even really done anything so far.
He's not even a good villain in the sense of being a villain. He's a joke villain.
Yeah, and it's great. I love it. And part of me feels like there's gonna be some stuff where he's gonna catch him, and it's not gonna be as insidious as everyone thinks.
Yeah.
I'm pulling for that.
Yang just wants to be noticed by Robbie Senpai.
Yang just wants Robbie Senpai. But anyway, we've been rambling for a bit.
And you know who wants to be noticed? Us.
We do.
Please notice us.
Notice us, audience senpai.
Please notice us, and to let us know that you noticed us, like this video maybe? Maybe subscribe to our channel? I don't know.
I don't care. You can do whatever you want. Subscribe to our channel. I don't give a shit.
Be like a really aggressive Sunday, like, subscribe to my channel. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit. Whatever.
I don't give a shit. Fuck
Dumbass.
You, idiot. Subscribing to my channel. Don't
it's
you
not like
know?
I wanted you to follow us on Twitter at Protagonist Seat.
Exactly.
Dumbass. Dipshit.
Baka. But that's our shit.
That is our shit.
We have pimped it to you. Goodbye.
Do with it what you will.